The second half of day 2 was a lot of fun and learning. It included our visit to the Gotul. Gotul is basically a center of learning and development amongst the Gond community. If you look into the etymology of the word, Gotul, spelled as Gotul, is it can be divided into two words. So go plus tul. So go has two meanings, meaning learning and mother, and tul is a place and womb. So it is a center for learning or place for learning, also a mother's womb. And mystically speaking, since animism is something that this tribe, Gond tribe, strongly believes in. So, Gotul, that's the place of learning, is synonymous with the mother's womb, which is also the first place of learning, or rather the first place of development for the child when the child is in the womb. So that's where the logic, or that's what the philosophy behind Gotul is. If you can see in the earlier shots, the first two shots, you can see drums, or they are the percussion instruments. There are about 18 instruments in total in the Gond community, and they have a lot of cultural significance. The gods or the ancestors are called upon using these instruments, and they are used in almost all the ceremonies, and they are used in spirit calling. Most of these instruments are made, at least the percussion instruments are made from natural elements like animal skin and tree bark. In the next shots, I'm just going to go a little quickly because I thought of creating a voiceover instead of writing everything, because this is a long video. So in the next shots, you can see a tree which has sort of green colored fruits. That's maua, which is not bloomed, it is yet to bloom. So maua, which is known as Maduka longifolia, that's the botanical name. So mahua is again has a lot of cultural importance in the Gond community, mainly because one of the name for mahua is Koya, and Koya is the actual social or cultural name for the Gond community. And the Gond name comes from Gondwana, since they are people of Gondwana, and the name gained popularity during when the colonial era started. So the Gond, the actual name is Koya or Koitur. So Koya is another name for Maua, and Maua is used in all cultural events and all ceremonies. It is you can derive fuel out of it. It's highly combustible, and it's also used. It's also a local alcohol. Of course, the process of making alcohol and oil and fuel are different, and it's consumed as alcohol in all ceremonies. It is offered when new guests come in. Also, it holds a lot of importance, and somehow signifies how Gond community are very close knit, and the bonding in the community. If you can see the way the fruits are closely binded together. So that's mahua for you, and as you can see, as the shots are progressing, you can see that people are bringing logs, and there are young children whom you can see standing outside observing. So basically in Gotul, the age group from which you can enter the Gotul or be a part of it is about pre-teens, and then you stay there till at least you're 18, and or you can leave Gotul. Most people leave Gotul between the age of 18 and 25. In most cases, it happens if you are getting a job outside, you're going outside. Some of them do go outside to study, or if you find yourself a partner. So there are different reasons and all, but this is the timing or the age group most of people stay, men or women. I mean, they join as children, but eventually they become adult men and women. They stay in the Gotul. And before pre-teens, children can observe any happenings or things that are being taught there. They can observe it from outside. They can sometimes participate. But those who are in the Gotul, those who are a part of the Gotul or part of the Gotul learning system, learning and development system, they have to follow a certain routine, which I will be telling you in in the coming shots as we progress. So over here they are making preparation for lighting a fire because they were about to uh, give us a dance performance. The dance performance was not being exactly not being specially done for us. So dance, music is very much a part of go-to learning, and children or the students, after doing their tasks assigned to them during the day, they always come back and they are taught different ways of socializing and how to bond in society. And what better way than music to bond in a society, music and dance together. So they, most of the time, every evening or once the sun sets down, they're back in the go-to for a while. They do have such performances, but if they are to attend, if they are attending any other ceremony in the village, which is also important for learning how a birth ceremony takes place in the culture, how a marriage ceremony takes place, and how the death ceremony takes place, small nuances, those are perhaps the time when these different aspects of socializing are skipped, because most, not always, it's debatable. Personally, I could not, nobody could give me a clear picture if the children stay back in the go-to or not. But as much as I understood, that mostly they don't stay back in the go-to. They go back to their villages or to their homes, because go-to doesn't really have any place for people to sleep or stay over. So they go back to their homes after they are done with their part of learning and development for the particular day.
अच्छा रिकॉर्ड चाहते हो लेकिन रिकॉर्ड किस चीज़ का कर रहे हैं समझ नहीं आता ऐसे हैं अच्छा लग रहा है अच्छा उसका जो वो है लाइट का उसका जो सीन दिख रहा है वो जो बाजा वगैरह दिखेंगे पढ़त पाता है पढ़त
So, for this particular day, or for us, they came back early from another ceremony. It was a death ceremony. In the village, the go-to was a part of. So every village has its own go-to. It's not like a couple of villages will have one single go-to. So every village has its own go-to, own center of learning and development. So the students, or the girls and boys, so girls are known as Laya, and boys are known as Layor. So they came back and for us to perform for us, so we could get a glimpse or of what happens in the go-to in the evening, because for some reason, I don't know how it happened or who did it, it was made notorious that there is a lot of premarital sex that happens in the go-to, and there's a lot of exchange of partners that happens in the go-to. So the members of the community wanted to clarify to me that that's not what happens. Yes, young men and women, they intermingle, they dance, they get married, they make music, they have food together or dinner together, but they do not engage in, because over there where we were, there was just probably one single large room, or just as you can also see in the picture here. So this was all that was there, and maybe another one. So if there are a lot of men and women, it's not practically possible for anybody to engage in sexual activities. So yes, so this thing had to be clarified, and yes, but there are relationships that are formed in the go-to. People like each other, and but they have to be from different clans. So that's another thing. And so if they are from different clans, they do get married and all after a certain age. Uh, they are not. The community is not in favor of child marriage. They make sure that the girl and the boy is of a certain age to get married, is of at least 18 years of age. So here, young men, if you can see, are getting ready. They're making preparation, and they are actual feathers and all. Headgear made from actual feathers. They are all set. So all preparation is going on over here in these shots before the dance starts. So the dance and the music is singing known as Rela. Dance is known as Rela, and Rela is there are the actual name or Rela is it's a tree. It's in English it's known as the golden shower tree. It has yellow flowers or botanically known as Cassia fistula. So it has yellow flowers, and it's seasonal. In India, it mostly comes during this monsoon season and all. And so it is believed that the guru, that's Lingo, Pahadi Kapar Lingo, the main guru of the tribe, it is believed that he used to meditate under the Rela tree, and that's when he developed all the philosophies and epistemology of the tribe. So that's how the name for Rela came. And another thing that the reason how dance developed in Rela dance is when Guru Lingo was meditating, he saw a group of children becoming very happy by seeing, I think it was bees or wasps. Not bees or wasps. It was, my bad. It was fireflies. So when fireflies were buzzing and fireflies were moving around and all, so he saw a group of children becoming very happy and very elated by observing those small insects, small fireflies, and that's when he decided that this is the way dances would be performed, moving in circles, because it seems that moving in circles, as you can see, brings a lot of joy to community or people as a whole. So I'll let you enjoy this wonderful dance performance, a wonderful Rela by the young gone men and women.
आग थोड़ी कम हो गई, आग कम हो गई। इनका क्या नाम है? जगत भाई।
Here you must be wondering that why rice is being applied on the drum. So rice is one of the natural elements that helps in increasing or improving the vibration of the drums, percussion instrument, and the higher the vibration, the better the pitch. That's the high and low of the sound. So that's the reason why this rice is being applied, because again God community believes that musical instruments gives vibrations that is good for the overall holistic development of the members of its community. So to improve the vibration, that's why the rice is being put, so that pitch also increases. So that's the reason behind this. Here again you can see young men getting logs of wood. So men and women in the Gotul are assigned different tasks for the daytime. It's like their homework. So men mostly, one of the tasks given to them is getting logs of wood. So they have to go to the jungle and they have to get logs of wood for fire, a fire which is lit up for, as we can see, for either dance performance, or if they are cooking, which mostly happens, or if there is some other way of social gathering or bonding happening. So the men mostly have to get wood from the jungle, and in the evening, all the men, all the young men or young boys rather, some of the boys only, are made to stand in the line, and it's like how in class homework is checked by the teacher. So here, if everyone has brought the log of wood or not is checked by Kotwar. So Kotwar is, if you see this young man with white t-shirt and white headgear, white bandana sort of thing over his head, and so the Kotwar is basically like a monitor, like a class monitor. So he has responsibility of checking if everyone has got the log of wood for that particular day or not, and that's why everyone is here making standing in line, and they are being asked one by one. They'll be asked eventually one by one that if the log of wood was brought by them or not. So, and those who don't bring the log of wood are punished. You are just going to see it in a few seconds here now in the next shot, that those who don't bring the log of wood are, I mean, they made them do sit-ups. That's what we saw. I don't know if it actually happens. I mean, we were told by our guides that this is how they are punished and all. That it reminded me of my school days. Like if we didn't do our homework, we were punished either by doing sit-ups, or maybe standing outside the class. So here there's no outside, so they were made to do the sit-ups, and that they have to make sure that the next day they get 2 logs of wood, one for the day that they missed and one for the current day. So 2 logs of wood. That's how it happens. So the young man with the stick and asking questions. If you can see, that's the Kotwar. That English translation would be a young boy leader, a male leader, and the 2 others sitting are also like leaders. They are called Sian. So Sian is something synonymous with he's like the head of the group, or the head boy, and the Kotwar is the monitor. So you can see they are being punished, they're doing the sit-ups and all. It was a little hilarious to watch. We were watching it from a distance, but it was a lot of learning. It was a good trip down the memory lane of my own childhood. And yes, I have also done sit-ups when I didn't do my homework.
पढ़ रहा है थोड़ा और पास आ जाए। नहीं वो चुनते कौन है, इन्हीं में से चुनते हैं।
अच्छा वोटिंग होता है।
सब लोग वोटिंग नहीं होता, जो डिबेट का करना है जिसमें मतलब एक लीडरशिप पोजीशन चलता है किसी को बुलाते हैं, हर किसी को नहीं। तो सबसे ज़्यादा बोल सकता है, तो सबसे ज़्यादा बोलने वाला को कोटवाल, ताकि वो पूछ सके
करे वो
ये हाँ निष्पक्ष न्याय करे, किसी का मतलब एक तरफ न्याय होता है। Ni mau, why mau mah ke? नहीं बड़ा बड़ा देखिए अब जहाँ लकड़ी रखने का वहाँ रख दिया सब लोग।
ये हर दिन का होता है।
पर डे हाँ हर दिन होता है।
लड़की के लिए क्या होता है ऐसा?
लड़कियों के लिए पूरा इसका साफ सफाई अगर नहीं रहा सीधा उनको पानी
तो पूछ रहा था तुमने क्या सफाई किया, तुमने क्या किया?
mana betul betul mana wara ले यहाँ नगला आइटा लाइट दे रहा है, लाइट दे
नहीं नहीं ये इस पे जो दिख रहा है
क्या पानी क्या
नहीं लाइट मत जलाएंगे मैं
ये सब क्यों बाबा?
पानी को मत पूछो ना,
नहीं पूछ सकते हैं।
So after our time in Gotul got over, we had to wrap it up because yes, since we cannot stay back in the Gotul, and the students also had to get back to their homes. So we went back to our place, the house where we were staying at in Amabera, and since there was a marriage coming up, happening in the coming days, so the house was a lot of merrymaking, a lot of fun activities were happening in the house, music and dance. So we got a chance to again observe the playing of different musical instruments and dancing of the rela happening in the village or in the house where the marriage was about to happen. So if you can see here, the musical instruments are a mix of they have been little modernized here, and they are not just typical musical instruments that the Gond communities are used to using, which are made of naturally occurring elements like animal skin and tree bark. So yes, that's cultural change for you happening here. So they were performing for us. They were the members of the house or the other houses near the place where we were staying. So here they're performing. In this performance is doesn't have a particular name uh, or meaning. What they're doing right now. In between, suddenly the lights went off, and as it is, yes, there is no electricity, a very minimum electricity. There are no mobile networks that you will get in these places, which is good, which was personally a big relief for me. And so earlier, a clip that you saw over there, what they were playing didn't have a particular purpose. They were just playing and making merry. But in the next shot, you'll see that they are first praying. It will come eventually. You'll see that they first pray to the musical instruments, and then they will start playing it. And when they start playing after praying and with the purpose, it's mostly in this context over here. It is a song. It signifies joys and of coming together of families, bonding, social bonding. So that's how what will happen when they start playing after this little prayer ceremony is done. So every time it's they play in a ceremony or in a ceremonial context, they always pray to their instruments first by offering mahua. So mahua is offered in the leaf is the sal tree leaf, as we saw, the ones we saw earlier. So in the same house in the earlier videos, it's mahua in the sal tree leaf. So they'll pour it or as an offering to the instruments, and then they will start the performance. So that's all that happened for the second half of day 2. It was a very hectic day and an amazing feast at the go-to prepared by young men and women, and so and a lot of merry making, a lot of learning, a lot of fun, a lot of going down the memory lane, a lot of learning about social bonding from this community. So it was overall a good learning for me, not just in terms of research but personally also.
इंतजार हो रहा है।
लोग मुझे कैसे मान
बजाएं? बजाएंगे नहीं?
हाँ बजाएंगे।
बजाएंगे बजाएंगे। ये बन रहा है थोड़ा मसाला।
अच्छा वो बन रहा है। अच्छा अच्छा
पूरा निमत मंत्री ओह नहाई करी निमत सब जन नहाई ओह नहाई उंट लबा ए रे तो दिखे क्यों ठीक है रे कुछ ना दिन खबर पूछा हो tinggal HP lagi searching वाले है ओम ट्री मठा चल गया एक रात कृष्ण सदा मारता मार रोचे बस कुमे इकड़ा लो रोचे भाई मार रोचे मोट साउंड में दूसरा पीस की सूर तब एकदम बढ़िया धीरे 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 से सीधा बढ़िया मजा मोए देखी जम ये आप मरी गाय को न बच आप मत
I decided to add voiceover because firstly it was a very long video and it had many elements, so I felt that maybe I should just talk about things that happened as much as I remember, without taking use of the notes that I made. And also I hope that the memory aspects of the ethnography that I conducted, I justified them. So my apologies if my voice is not clear, or if my accent is not clear, or if I am sort of stuttering or repeating my words a lot. So this is the first time that I'm adding a voiceover, like impromptu, like an extempore kind of voiceover. I will probably, if I have to do this again, which is, you guys can tell me if I have to do this again or should do this again, then I'll probably write everything down first and then record the voiceover. But I hope you are enjoying these videos that I'm uploading. I think it's very necessary as a visual ethnographer for me to archive my work, upload my work on social media so anyone can watch and learn and observe. And those who don't know what's visual ethnography, it's basically using audio-visual medium like sound, camera, sound recorders and all in research, to research particularly on ethnic groups. And ethnic groups can range from indigenous communities, rural communities, urban communities, or any group of people in urban or rural area, wherever in cities, that have shared practices, beliefs, thoughts and ideals. So that technically would be an ethnic group, not just in classic sense. Of course it means people belonging to a certain society or community, but yes, now the definition of ethnic group or ethnography has changed. So but my interest lies in visually documenting or using visual medium to research on indigenous communities of India. So that's what I'm doing, and that's why I made this film, and that's why I'm working on my next project on Tamang tribes of Sikkim. But before I start my next project, I'm going to be archiving the entire work of mine on Gone Community on my YouTube channel, and it will be a mix of video and text, or video and like how I did today, my voiceover. So that's how. And if you see in the end, these people are, after they are done with their performance, they are break to have the mahua. That's all. Hope you have a good day.
है